And these weeds here are asters and fleabanes, some goldenrod and things like that. And they produce pollen late in the season. And I have had very poor set of my apple trees, peaches, pears, because sometimes it warms up in the spring and it comes on fast, and within 3 days the flowers have bloomed out and they're gone. And that means the bees only had 3 days to work them. Wow. And the problem is, where's the honeybees? Not very many honeybees anymore. So I don't depend on honeybees. I hardly ever see honeybees around here. So one of the big pollinators are bumblebees, but the problem is at that time of year, the only bumblebees you see are queens. Okay? Their young have not produced yet, and apples, pears, and peaches are finished blooming before they have their young. So there's not a lot of bumblebees. But if you can increase the bumblebee colonies, which are about 30 in a colony, by having a lot of pollen for them in the fall. And so that's why I just left all these weeds in here, because they're all going to come up and they're going to produce a lot of pollen. And when I do that, then I have better pollination by the bumblebees in there. I also put out mason bee, those little, just take a 2x8 and drill those holes about 6 inches deep in there with a 5/16. I use a 3/8 because I can't find a long 5/16 bit. So I use 3/8 and they go in there, and so I get the mason bees. And the mason bees are nice because there's two types. There's the orchard mason bee and blue mason. Well, there's a lot of mason bees, but those are the two we like because they only come out and they do their thing right at apple, pear, peach blossom time. Okay, and so you want to have those out there for them at that size of a hole, because some of the other mason bees want a bigger hole, smaller hole, whatever. You want just the right size hole for the orchard and the blue mason. And they come out and they're only out for like a month or two, and that's it. And then they're inside there for the year, and then they come out again. But that's something good to help with pollination. I don't know if you have trouble with pollination, but I have. So whenever its bloom starts coming on and it cools down and it's on for a week and a half, no problem. But boy, when it gets hot and it's only 3 days, you need the extra workers. So it's good to have, all kinds of weeds and stuff wherever you can grow them that will produce the pollen, the fleabanes and the asters and the goldenrods in the fall, because that will help increase the bumblebee colonies.